What's up, everyone? This is Christopher. This is my co-host,
Katie.
And we've got with us today a very special guest, Brigitte Oger.
Hello.
From Cakes Charlotte. We'll dive into that in a moment and why we have her here. But want to welcome you guys to the second episode of the First Crack podcast. That's hard to process, right? Second episode, First Crack.
Yeah. It'll always be hard like
It'll
that.
always hard. Okay, perfect. So, folks, a lot to talk about. Just kidding, not a whole lot since our last episode. But we are excited to bring you a guest today. So, as usual with our podcast, we start by cracking into some delicious coffee. So, Katie, what are we drinking today?
Yeah. So today we are drinking our Woodside Wicked. Yep. This is an awesome coffee. This is a Colombian Brazilian blend. And it's actually like a medium dark roast. It's quite delicious.
What kind of cupping notes can we find for the general public that decides to go find this coffee at one of our supporters or partners?
Can I say one?
Yeah.
Organic Harvest.
Organic Harvest, Plaza Midwood. You know what's up. Cupping notes. What do you taste? I guess we'll go around the table. Brigitte, what do you taste when you drink this coffee?
And
frozen.
I taste coffee in this coffee.
I taste very chocolatey notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very warm to your soul.
It's a soul warming blend.
I'm more speaking out of emotion rather than real knowledge because I'm not a coffee
You're knowledgeable.
expert.
Well, we stand next to each other too
Often.
often at pop-up markets,
I hear
so
the spiel all the time.
I would hope that you're knowledgeable by this point.
She knows our business in and out, actually.
Exactly.
She could take our place, I feel like.
Yeah. Well,
She could stand in for me.
definitely not.
whenever you're ready. Wow. Hey,
Where's Katie?
just read the bag. Shift the camera to the side. Yeah. Well, good stuff. Well, the cupping notes for those that are interested is green grape, little bit of toffee.
Yeah.
Does anyone know what toffee tastes like? I feel like we just
I
know
do.
what the word is. You do?
She would definitely know. Yeah.
I have no idea, and we have a funny story here. But when we first got the cupping notes from our distributor for this coffee, we went ahead and roasted it, and we tasted some really amazing flavors. We're like, what's that one flavor we really can't pick out? Turns out I don't know what toffee tastes like. Never had it. So Katie decided that she would do what?
I made some vegan toffee.
Vegan toffee.
Burnt it. Burnt the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Hard. And it turned out to be glass, like glass slivers.
She made shards of dark brown glass in a Tupperware, and she was like, I want you to taste what toffee tastes like.
So what was the fat for your toffee?
I think it was vegan butter.
Okay.
I want to say I used vegan butter for that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it was not.
Yeah.
I mean, if I made it correctly and didn't burn it, I feel like it would have had a really good taste. It was like a very caramelly, caramelly.
It's good in the coffee. It
Yeah.
just wasn't good in real life.
We're gonna track down real toffee at some point. Maybe you could make us some
Yeah,
There we
I
go.
think I'll have to
Do
make
you
know
some
anyone?
toffee.
vegan
Yeah.
toffee.
I can make it, bro.
Well,
We
then
know
there we
somebody.
go.
That's why
There
we
we go.
keep her around.
Do you know anyone that makes coffee? Do you know anyone that can bake? Are you good at baking or no? Okay, perfect. Well, I guess that's a good segue, folks. So the reason we have Brigitte on the show today is because we've known her for coming up on almost a year. We've been doing these pop-up markets for a long
Since
time.
the last time it was cold.
Since the last time, we met her in the frozen tundra of the pop-up market that we've been doing here for quite some time here in Plaza Midwood, and instantly fell in love with her. Amazing baker, pastry chef, connoisseur, purveyor of all things delicious and baked.
Funny as hell. Just
Funny
bubbly
as hell,
personality.
great personality.
On point.
So on
Yeah.
point, all those great things.
We like having her around. That's why she's our first guest
Yeah,
here too.
first official guest. So we wanted to get you guys some more exposure to Brigitte, what she's all about, what she's doing with Craft Cakes, where they're going with the company, and really just to kind of have a good time and get to know her. So just basic questions, plural. Why pastries? How'd you get into it? What's your story, lady? Who are you?
My story is very cheesy. It's very basic. Growing up, knew that I wanted to do pastry and be a pastry chef and be dessert extraordinaire.
Oh, dessert extraordinaire.
So I
speak
spent
French,
a lot
by
of
the
time-
way?
Nope.
No?
Don't ask.
Can we get the full pronunciation of your name? Because I like to butcher it.
It is Brigitte Oger.
I mean,
So
guys,
fancy.
have you
Roll
heard a
the
fancier
tongue,
name than
use the
Brigitte
zhuzh,
Oger?
Put all the bouginess in it, and
It
then
is
you're
bougie.
saying it right.
It's bougie, but
Yeah.
it's like good bougie.
Yeah,
it's like the better bougie.
It's like actual bougie.
True.
Like it's
It's
actually from the
legitimate.
country.
We're bougie. We're the word bougie.
bourgeois
Yeah.
country.
No one even knows that like bourgeoisie is like the source of the word bougie. They think bougie is like a trendy word.
Just learning stuff every
Yeah.
day.
So my grandparents always said you need to say your name right. People need to know how to say it. So I finally came around to that about 3 years ago.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So pastry. I was watching a lot of Food Network shows as a kid, just as wanting to watch it. It wasn't like I gotta watch Food Network shows so I know how to be a chef. It's just I really enjoyed it. So then I started kind of playing around in the kitchen as soon as I got old enough that my mom would let me cook something without her watching me, which I hated when she watched me because I always wanted to feel like I could do it myself.
Right.
That was pretty much it. I just kept reinforcing in my mind that I wanted to do pastry in some capacity. So as soon as I graduated high school, everyone in high school knew that I was going to go to culinary school.
Yeah.
You were like baking cakes for them in high school on their birthday.
I was in home ec, and I'm like, oh, I know what I'm doing, guys. Come on, like
you were
look,
the teacher,
like
pretty
you know
much.
how to make a biscuit, right? Look, let me show you how to make a biscuit.
From
Alton
scratch.
Brown showed me.
That's right.
So
You knew all the food science.
Like half a cup is half a cup. It says it right in the recipe. Hello.
Yeah. Yep. That's always that magic where people are like, oh, I can never cook. It's like, well, can you read?
Yeah.
Because if you can
Literally
read, you
follow
can cook,
directions.
you know? And then there's, of course, the
Yeah.
art. The art
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of art behind it too.
So then I went to culinary school, and now I'm here 10 years later. So I started actually working in the industry when I was 18, and
now you're 40.
Now I'm 47. So
47.
it's been, I can't do math still, so that's
19 years.
38.
Yeah, 19
Carry the
years.
five.
Yeah, you look fantastic for 47. Yeah, that lotion's really doing its thing. Is that chapstick you put on your face? Just get it all up in there.
Yeah.
Cool. So, and Craft Cakes has it been Craft Cakes from like the jump, or when did you officially make Craft Cakes like a thing, like a company?
It's been Craft Cakes from the jump.
Okay.
Since April 2016. And I didn't actually go public with it, or at least really talk about it until like November of that year. But I went to the Register of Deeds in April, so that's when I got the name official.
Yep.
So that's kind of where it was born, I say. And so now it's been 2.5 years
Okay.
from the start.
That's
Awesome.
awesome.
And you started out. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask. So why do your own thing opposed to like jumping in with somebody else?
Because you
selfish.
No.
I just like to. I don't mind being alone. I don't mind working alone. I don't mind just doing my own thing and being okay with that. I didn't want to jump in with someone else. I guess to begin with, I really didn't know anybody else who wanted to do what I was aiming for.
Yeah.
So that made me think I'd probably have to convince someone to see my vision my way, and then that would be a disservice to anybody else.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
Still trying to convince her. It's,
Yeah.
it's hard work. It's real
I'm
hard.
not on board. Psych.
so that it was just kind of natural to just start it on my own and see where that went. And especially kind of back to the whole, we were talking earlier about how I don't like people celebrating my birthday or anything. If this failed, I didn't want it to fail with somebody else. It's just,
Okay.
Right.
it's all on me.
Yeah, bring your sink the ship with yourself,
Yeah.
and not everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. So Craft Cakes, I mean, we see you guys blowing up on social media. You know, you have a pretty strong presence there. Your cakes look like fucking artwork. Like, they don't even look like food. They look
You
like something
almost
that,
don't want to
like,
eat them because
like
they're
an
so
artist
pretty.
painted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they're
gorgeous,
amazing. I've seen
gorgeous
them in picture. I've seen them in real life at the barn. You know, we've seen the hand pies. I mean, it seems like your I guess, repertoire of what you can bake, you know, is pretty much limitless, right? So is there something like what's your favorite thing to make? I guess, what are you most passionate about as far as your capabilities?
I've baked a lot of different things, and I like cake because it holds the best. If you make a puff pastry, it's dead in about an hour.
Shelf life.
And, cake just kind of came to be something that I felt could really use some love in what's on the inside. And so I really enjoy making that, because if a cake comes out really well baked, it's a proud moment and you feel very satisfied. And I guess I enjoy doing other things, like other pastries, but nothing has really brought me the joy when it's finished like a cake does. So other things like puff pastry doughs and stuff, I guess, are a little bit tedious for me. You need a lot more room and more space.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never really grown into that.
Okay.
So cake was just something I knew I could make from scratch.
Now, are you I think I know the answer here, but I'm a cake guy. I'm not a frosting guy. There's some people that, like, when they get a piece of,
We've
like,
had this conversation.
Yeah, we have. Like a birthday cake or wedding cake, like they aim for the corner to get 2 sides of frosting, not, and less cake. Yeah. So cake or frosting? What's your thing?
Totally cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cake
It's all about
day
what's on
long.
the
Cake?
inside.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
good. Some like-minded people here.
Yeah.
I mean, the
clearly.
outside is beautiful. You create artwork and it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But like, what's on the inside? If it tastes delicious,
Yeah.
you're gonna want to eat like 47.
That's
of
a
them.
metaphor for life.
Yeah, there's I guess there's something to be said about baking a cake, this piece of art, and then bringing it. A lot of times it's for a special occasion, like a wedding or a birthday, a celebration. How does that play into like what you're doing? How does that make you feel? There's got to be.
It makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
Back to your point about what I chose to do cake over all other kinds of pastry things. When someone sees a cake, their head explodes.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
God, this
Right.
cake is so beautiful. And
You're the thing people remember about a
Right,
ceremony.
right.
It's not the rest of it.
Right.
No one remembers
Remember
like
that
the
dope
surf and
cake
turf.
that we
People
ate?
remember like the basket weave cake, right? With the amazing topper
Yeah.
or something like that.
yeah, the
Yeah.
flowers, the edible flowers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when the client sees their cake or they come pick it up and they're almost at a loss for words, they're like, oh, damn.
They haven't even tried it yet. You're
I
like,
didn't
"Just
know
wait,
that's what
it
I
gets
was
better."
getting.
Right.
So that's a great feeling. And nobody knows how hard you worked for it
Yeah.
on the background. They just know that you probably did. And they don't see anything but the final product. And you know that anything that may have happened before, it's fine because
Yeah.
they don't know and they're happy and they love how it looks and they don't know how much work went into it. Or they have an idea, but
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm finished with a cake, I don't want to look at it because I can't appreciate it fully. I've just spent so many hours on
Right.
it.
You hate it at that point.
Right,
You're like, if
right.
I see this cake for one
Yeah.
more
Right.
minute, I'm just gonna smash it.
Put it in the fridge. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
go away.
Done.
We're done for now.
Yeah, right.
I'll come back in the morning
need
and
a
take a
break from
second
you.
look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you pull it back out, I bet it looks
Right.
different the next
right.
morning.
So
You're
the
like,
next
"Wait, I didn't
day,
see that,"
I can
or-
appreciate
Yeah.
it. So I take that moment to know that that's what the client feels like. They're seeing it for the first time.
Yeah.
So I think that answers your question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think that answers your question. You don't think
I'm not sure. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I hate when I get a question asked and I don't answer it.
Yeah.
'Cause
Right,
I
you
wasn't
can't
trying
tell.
not to.
We're not trying
I
to-
just forgot
yeah.
what
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
Wait, what did you?
I've
we were-
been talking for
Is this
6
anywhere
minutes.
close
What
to
did
what
you
you
say?
asked me? There's definitely a lot of emotion behind it.
I know that we've
That's
spoken
great.
on some mornings where you're like, no, I was up all night baking. I have 2 cakes to do. I have a wedding. I have this. I have that. Obviously, you're grinding it out. You're working super hard. Like I said before, your social media is on point. That truck just drove by. Shout out to that truck. Sorry if anyone heard that. Social media
on
is
grinding.
is on point. Like you're all over the map. How do you balance working like 1,000,000 hours a week and then real life and just the marketing element of it? Trying to stay relevant. You do a lot of shows and like showcase things like these artisan markets or the event you did with the painter like a month or so ago.
Ken Youngstrom.
Yeah, Ken Youngstrom, right, which was amazing. WFAE, it's all that different stuff. Like, how do you keep all your shit together is the question.
I put it on my Google Calendar.
There you go.
and
Shout out
then
Google.
Shout out Google.
When
Getting
I'm
it
not
done.
doing something, I will take my dog for a walk. And typically on Saturday night, I turn off my phone and I don't turn it on again until Sunday night. And then that's kind of me defragmenting my brain from whatever was going on that week.
Just dropped a Windows 98 term, defragmenting.
Yeah.
You're defragmenting your hard drive over here.
I can see behind my eyeballs just the thing.
colors,
Yeah.
the little stripes, the yellow, the red, the green. Yeah, nice.
And that's basically, I just put it on the Google Calendar and I don't think of anything really until 7 to 10 days before. If it's, for example, Artisans Market's coming up next weekend.
We'll be there.
I just started thinking about it probably yesterday, the day before.
Yeah.
Because I know that at a certain point, there's nothing I can do. I can't.
Right.
I can only make a cake
Beyond
so
stress
soon.
about
it.
Right.
Right.
So I try not to stress about it. I just have it on my calendar, and I know that I don't even know what I'm gonna make for it. I just
You just know when you need to start.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, and I like to kind of gather little things and stuff when I have to go shop for product and kind of like build like a little nest,
Yeah.
like a squirrel.
Right. Just
and
gather it.
then it's kind of like a mystery basket by the time I'm ready to start working on it because I'm like, ooh, look at all these things I have. Now I force myself to work within those parameters so that
awesome.
I can make something for the event.
And I feel like you're in this industry, or at least for your product that you create, it's not the kind of thing where you can make 12 cakes and then freeze them and be like, boom, your cake's ready. I added some new buttercream to it. You're good to go. Like, you want your shit as fresh as possible, right? And we do something similar to where, you know, we roast on demand. So if someone puts in an order for 20 bags, it's like, hang tight. I got to go roast, 25 pounds of coffee or whatever that is, right, to make you 20 bags. So that can add stress too, because that, you can't really prepare for the future. You can kind of assume if you're like in the busy season, maybe like for pastries or things like that you can maybe make some of it ahead of time.
Right.
But like the time's against you, because the minute you make it, like you said, the shelf life or that half-life starts decaying ASAP.
The biggest thing that I can do to prepare is just have ingredients ready on the go.
Right.
So if anything happens, I have backup ingredient, and then I have the initial ingredient to actually produce that product.
How many times have you run to Teeter at 3 a.m. to get vanilla extract?
They're like, her again?
And they're out of vanilla extract. Do you guys have coriander? No?
Teeter, Publix, Earth Fare, Organic Harvest, Amazon.
We should start a spice on demand, like Uber Eats kind of a thing, where they deliver spices to your house. What do you think?
Except for
all
it would
the
cost me
spices.
$50 for a 2-ounce bottle of cinnamon.
This is
so.
true.
Yeah,
this is
that's
true. But that's all right. It could be worth it in the pinch.
Cinnamon is definitely worth it, I feel like. Yeah, it's one of those things you can't live without.
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
I actually bought some yesterday because I was out, so I was like, I need
Fresh
some
out.
cinnamon.
You can use it for all the things.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing.
you got to go to Super G on Central. You've been,
Super
I'm
G.
sorry, Independence.
Of course, I've been
Yeah.
Super G.
Who hasn't?
Come on now.
Well,
Come
no,
on
well,
now.
but like from a spice standpoint, Super
Yeah,
G has that
that's
weird
great.
shit that like you can get, like the Chinese cloves and like things that you don't get at Teeter.
Yeah.
If you do get them at Teeter, it's like $27 for a
Yes.
thing like this. Super G is like 27 cents
For a
because
pound.
for a pound,
Yeah.
it's like no label.
Yeah.
It's just like
They
a
hook it
bag
up.
and like
Yeah,
they
that's
what it is.
handwrite
Don't
it.
ask questions.
Yeah,
Just,
it's like
You pick it up
algo
with that.
bueno, right? And you're like, what? It's like something.
it's just, you know what to do.
Exactly. It says ya tu sabes. It's like a big plastic bag. Ya tu sabes.
If we have to tell you, you don't need
You're like,
it.
this goes in chicken or cake? They're like, you know what to do. You'll find out.
You see people grabbing it, they're just like, yeah, of course I know what to do.
Like,
What are you doing?
They got the ya tu sabes? I did too. Yeah, I bought some pumpkin seeds there. No expiration date, no labeling. I was like, fuck, are these pumpkin seeds? I was like trying to like shake the thing just like to look. It was just like a random little container. They were good. I don't know like where they came from. I did the same thing there. I bought alfalfa or some kind of sprouts.
Yeah.
And they had like the sprouts with a label on it. From like I don't know where it was. It wasn't English, right? But it was somewhere in Asia, like Korea. It was circles, so Korean. And it was $3 or whatever it was, $4, and they had a bag that was like 3 times the size, no label, and it was like 99 cents. And I'm like, where the fuck did they get these sprouts?
You need to be careful with alfalfa sprouts.
You gotta be careful. I think
Broccoli
it's like
sprouts,
legitimate bacteria
alfalfa
or
sprouts,
like
that's where all that-
lots of bacteria.
That's where that E. coli comes from. Shout out E.
He
coli.
sprayed it down with method before he ate it.
I just put Purell in the bag and I shook it. I added some of that yatu
alfalfa
sabe
shaker.
spice to it, and then I just sauteed it. So hopefully I killed all the stuff that was in there, but it was good. But
Yeah.
it goes bad too when you buy that much.
Yeah.
I
There's no
digress.
way you can eat it that fast
No,
unless you
Yeah.
are
no.
a rabbit.
You're gonna eat,
Unless
like,
you're a
3
legitimate
pieces.
rabbit, right?
Yeah.
Or E. coli takes a little bit to develop in your
Yeah.
system, so
Yeah.
you can only have so much. So we talked about kind of your upbringing in this pastry world, right, and kind of where you are today. Cornball question, but like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, what's the future for craft cakes? Where do you want to see it go? And 5 minutes from now, 5 weeks, 5 years. I mean, you pick the time frame, but what's your game plan going forward?
Future for craft cakes is world domination in 5
love it.
years.
That's why we have her around.
Did you steal our business plan?
Same business plan.
That's our exact
That's why
same
you
We're all
hang
gonna
out with
take
the
over the world.
villains.
The
We
villains.
supply the coffee for her to take over
If
the
you're trying
world.
to make it phonetic.
But to get there, I see myself kind of expanding on what I do as far as buttercream technique. I bought some tools yesterday.
At Home Depot?
No, at Cheap Joe's Art Stuff. It's over, I think,
a
on
real place?
Remont.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
cool.
I've seen it.
It's super dope. People are really nice. But I bought some tools to kind of play with more buttercream techniques. So expanding my repertoire on what goes on a buttercream cake, how it's designed, and settling into where I'm at right now at our new studio, and kind of feeding off the creativity in there. Possibly, I would love to add a head baker. I want to teach someone all the recipes, how to bake, and have them work that part of the business so that I can focus on the decorating part and the customer service experience, which I do all of those things now. So just continuing to grow the business while still maintaining a work-life balance. That's always on the forefront of my mind. So whatever it is, just add the people you need to have around you to make it happen and not kill yourself.
Yep.
So that's why I started this. That's why I wanted to specialize, because I wanted to make sure that I could have oversight on what's going on and still be able to really make an impact in whatever industry it is
I love
that
it.
I'm working
Yeah,
in.
it's a beautiful answer.
It's good. I'm
guys
sorry.
jumped
Katie, are you crying? Katie, don't cry.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
We're talking about cake, for God's sake. Why are you crying?
No, it's a gorgeous answer. It really
Yeah.
is. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And the work-life balancing is really important too. And putting your focus into things that you're passionate about. Of course, there's things that you're passionate about in life too. So having that balance is super important to keep a well-oiled machine. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Gotta
love
keep
that.
that oil. Just going right
got
in.
it?
Is that the oil pump?
Like the Tin Man.
Just that Tin Man here.
Miami, the
No
fumigator
heart.
comes, is like,
That's right. Right.
You think-
You fumigate the cakes.
You guys didn't know, but Brigitte is a robot.
Yeah, she's a robot and an
That's why she's so
exterminator.
magical.
Yeah, for sure.
So oftentimes Chris and I talk about the coffee community in Charlotte, how amazing everybody is, how uplifting, how everybody's like helpful and has nothing but like, positivity and a great resource for us. What's the baking community like in Charlotte, and how do you feel that out? Like,
well, it's funny you bring that up because I've always thought about the coffee community as being really well connected as far as taking care of each other and giving positive feedback, criticism, and helping each other out as far as growth, knowing that there's enough space for everyone to be successful. And what I found I can't speak for the entire pastry industry because I specialize in cakes.
Yeah.
But as soon as I started Craft Cakes, I was approached by other pastry chefs in Charlotte who I knew were pastry chefs at the time. We all worked at separate restaurants at the time. And they just reached out to me and said, hey, I'm looking to start my cake shop. Hey, I'm looking to start my cake business. Let's stay connected. Let's go have breakfast. Let's go just be a backbone for each other. And it's been amazing. It all just so happened to be that we all started at the same time. And so it really worked out where we were all growing at the same time and going through the same troubleshooting, the same concerns, the same doubts. Yeah. And we've all been able to just go and have breakfast on a Sunday once a month. And it sounds like a Gilmore Girls, like a Golden Girls thing.
Golden Girls. Or Gilmore. Wait, is there pillow fights at the end? Or, yeah.
I know nothing of the Gilmore Girls. I just get them confused with the Golden Girls.
Party of Five, I'm confused about these old shows.
So, and we just like make it a point to meet and talk and, diffuse whatever's going on in our minds, any doubts, anything that we feel like, oh, I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know like what I'm doing. And so the cake community has been incredible. I never thought it could be so much like the coffee community. And it was something that I thought, oh, that would be cool if it was like that. I don't want to be in a cutthroat industry in Charlotte. I despise that.
Yep.
In the restaurant industry, hotel industry, catering, it's all like that. And I wanted to make sure that going on this venture, I would have friends in the industry. I would have people that I can count on and we all help each other out. And that's how it's been since the beginning, and there's no sign of that going away. It's only getting better. So to answer your question, it has been so refreshing to be in this industry in the last couple years because we've all been really good to each other as far as now we're just friends, really. We don't get to see each other a lot because everybody's working.
Right, because everyone's so busy doing events.
Yeah. Sam, she's my friend. She's doing her thing, but she's still my friend, and so is Jossie and Ella, everybody. So it's great.
It's great that you guys can like lift each other up and, like you said, kind of have these meetings and gathering of the minds where it's like, I tried this, this doesn't work. What do you guys think about that? I feel like that's huge. But inevitably, right, there's got to be at some point where, maybe not even in a negative way, but like you see someone else, venturing into some other form of distribution for pastries, and it inspires you to go do something similar, or just kind of build each other up, right? But my question is that, like, when you guys do fight, is it like a West Side Story kind of thing where like like your cake clique, like you guys have like a name for your cake gang, and like there's other cliques and all that, or like how do the fights unravel? Or
you would think that the cake industry is saturated in Charlotte, but it's really not. So everybody who does cake in Charlotte knows the other person who does cake. There's one clique. That's it.
Right, it's all one gang.
Yeah, it's all
so
one gang.
So it's you guys against the cookie people.
Right.
It's the cakes against the cookies.
The brownies.
Got it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you do cookies?
Yeah.
Or
so.
the cupcake people.
Right.
No, donuts. Donuts is the other
yeah,
big
donuts,
set.
yeah.
Right, donuts.
So it's, and the funny thing is that we've started to pull in people from other aspects.
Yep.
So whether it is donuts or cookies, other pastry specialties that were just started out with people who do cake. Now we've seen even pastry chefs from restaurant pastry chefs come out and start kind of sharing in that support and that mutual support. So I think it's just had a really great vibration among the pastry community in general, and people are just learning that, you don't have to be aggressive, you don't have to be cutthroat, because there's enough people to go around.
Yeah.
And
we
if
all
you're-
want cake.
Right. If you're doing
And we all want to be friends.
right.
Yeah.
If
Friends, cake, coffee.
Yeah, all of it.
All of the things.
When you
like,
become a grown up, you can't like hang out. You're not like all gonna go hang out outside and like rollerblade for like 6 hours.
We
before
might.
You have
Do you
to
want to
go
come
inside.
with us later?
No, we have to do that for real, for real though.
I don't
Yeah.
My
rollerblade.
roller
Yeah,
skates.
but we
Too
don't always
tall.
get the opportunity to do that. So as a grown up, the version of that when you were a kid of like fulanita in the next block that you get to like roller skate with is just being there for each other, knowing that so and so has your back, and when you need them, they're going to be there.
I love it.
So yeah.
Brigitte, if you need us to have your back, we're there.
Oh no, you guys are. Yeah,
And
I know that for
specifically
sure.
when the cookie people come up on you to try to jack your shit, just blow the whistle.
With like little knives.
Just
and,
go
like,
whoo, whoo, and just make. I can't whistle, but just make the noise, and we're coming in hot with a bag of beans. Just bopping people with beans, or like we grind them up and just make like a mist.
Yeah.
It's like they
You
can't see
disappear.
it. They're like, fuck, where are we?
Fog cloud.
Yeah, just a fog cloud, like a smoke grenade made of coffee espresso.
Yes.
Espresso grind. Well,
Yeah,
good
I'll
stuff.
remember that.
No, yeah, that's awesome. Kind of to that point too, just real quick. You've mentioned it's kind of filtering out, like it's not just the cake people, it's the cookie people, it's like the coffee people, it's everything. There's so many small businesses in Charlotte, and we find ourselves connecting just from doing like a pop-up here, a random pop-up. We might meet with somebody that owns a gym, or there's so many different avenues to take it. And I feel like everybody just kind of knows everybody, and everybody's has the same goal of just bringing people up, and yeah. So
Amen. I mean,
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
everybody love everybody. I think that's from a movie that I watched.
If not, you should make a movie
No, it
called
totally is.
Everyone Loves Everybody.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, folks. Cheers.
Who says you can't cheer with coffee?
Right. No one says that, actually. I've never heard that before. So Brigitte, amazing having you on the show today. I feel like we learned a lot about you. We discussed a lot of interesting things, from unknown spices and things at Super G to your background in cakes to the gang warfare between cookie people and donut people here in Charlotte. And it should be a documentary in and of itself. We had some movie lines or quotes from a movie that may or may not really exist. And
Jackie Moon. What is the movie? It's gonna come to me.
Jackie Moon.
Yeah, it was
Jackie
a basketball.
Chan?
Nope, it was a basketball movie.
Juwanna
with,
Man?
No,
Do you want a man?
filmed in
was,
Charlotte, folks. Filmed in Charlotte.
Will Ferrell.
Is it semi-pro?
Semi-pro. Thank you. Go watch that
Semi-pro?
movie. It's
Do you guys say
amazing.
semi or semi?
Semi-pro.
Yeah.
I say the
How do you
hyphen.
say it?
Like I
I don't know.
phonetically
I
say
think
the
it's
word hyphen.
50-50.
50-50?
Semi-pro?
Yeah.
Are you an either or an either?
Both.
Ooh.
How can you
She
be
mixes
both?
it up.
Because
You're
it
one or the
depends
other.
on the context, and
That's
it depends
true.
on the sentence.
It's actually true.
Excuse
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
How?
Either way.
Yeah.
No.
But
It's one or the other.
Well, it's like just
No,
take
you can use
the
them
letter
both.
A.
Give me
I use A differently.
Language
Or
is
A.
an art. So
language arts was a
therefore-
class.
Booyakasha. So therefore, you can use the enunciation of any word in any form that you would like in order to add emphasis to a conversation or
Emphasis?
a sentence. Exactly. No, but that's wrong.
Syllable.
But that's wrong.
I say syllable.
We can all agree that one's wrong.
It's the context, Brigitte. Sometimes emphasis, artistically, as a language art, can be used to describe syllables. No?
Okay, we're gonna go with that.
No, you're right. I agree. I agree that you're both wrong about having either and either interchangeably used. I feel like it's like,
Like
are you?
pecan
I
and
feel like you're
pecan.
keeping people
Do you
guessing.
do you
just have
change
to
pecan
kinda
and
change it
pecan
up.
when you talk?
No. I say
you-
pecan.
yeah, you
Caramel or
pick one.
caramel?
Oh.
I use both.
Me
Why
too.
would you-
Yeah.
Well, okay, I understand why. If you're like, I'm having this Milky Way and it has caramel in it while I'm driving down Carmel Road, then I
Well,
can
no, those are two
understand
different
using
words because
both.
they're spelled
Completely
differently.
different.
So no, it's caramel or caramel, whether you want to leave the A out or not.
Is it?
Yeah.
Like, would
Carmel
you say
Road is Carmel Road.
So Brigitte, again, discussed a bunch of cool stuff today. Final question: where can people find your magic cake here in Charlotte? Multi-part question: where can they find you? How can people that want your cakes get a hold of you? And anything else that you just want to say to share with we're going to write all this shit down. I'll email you the questions. And then just sort of, anything else you want to share with your fans. We have about 22 million viewers on this podcast now.
Okay.
So right now you are in front of a lot of people.
Oprah.
Oprah, exactly. You get a cake. And just whatever you want to share. So wrap it up.
Fastest way to find me digitally. Craft Cake CLT. At Craft Cake CLT. Craft Cake CLT, everything earthing. Website, craftcakeclt.com.
.com.
If you want to reach me to hit me up about a cake, order here section, craftcakeclt.com.
Got it.
Fill out questionnaire. It hits me up.
Submit.
Submit. It's got a really nice pink icon right now, like a dusty rose pink.
Oh, nice.
Click that one. It's really cool.
Cool.
And physically, if you want to find me, I'm in Plaza Midwood, 1600 Fulton Avenue. You can't miss the big sign on the door.
Craft Cakes CLT is
Craft
my
Cake
guess is what it
CLT.
says.
It just says
704-555-1212. 704-555-1212.
It's not her number.
So
it's not.
it's not my number. Don't call me.
Don't call. You won't get shit if you call that number. Awesome. Well, thanks again for being here.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Had a great time answering all our random questions, talking about all kinds of fun things.
We love hanging out with you, so let's do this again.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
why don't
me
we
It's
too.
going to be on
decide?
episode number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I just be like every other
Guys,
guest?
To be continued.
Brigitte is the newest member of Villain Coffee Company, so she's all in.
I'm the food expert.
Right.
So
It's
you
your
just
job
need
to
me here
dip
to, like,
pastry in the
insert.
coffee
Yeah,
to
yeah,
make sure that
exactly.
all our coffee does well with dipping pastries in
Yeah.
it. Fantastic. Awesome. Well, folks, thanks for joining. Thanks for wasting your time watching this video. And we will see you next time. We still don't have a cool closer, so
Maybe we'll come up with them by
we'll
next
come up
time.
with one at some point. But either
be
way,
this.
we'll just do this until you guys are ready to tune in number
Cheers.
3. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to be notified instantly when these episodes come out, because you know that you're dying to watch them. And that's all we got. So enjoy your weekend or day or whenever you happen to be watching the show. And that's it. Till next time.
Bye.